Hey, what's going down, y'all? This your boy Jay Mason, inside the Time Machine on WUAG 103.FM. Playing the best of new old school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. Right now on the phone with me, I have the writer and the producer of Don't Blame Hip Hop, Leon Newton. Mr. Newton, welcome to the Time Machine, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yourself?
Good, good. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to do this interview.
You're more than welcome.
All right, now, how did you get your start in the business?
How we got started was I had a friend that's a singer and also a person that likes, to have his own studio, and he writes. And we was watching CNN one day, and what happened was that we saw how everybody was putting down hip-hop. And I was saying, okay, fine, but there's some rap artists and hip-hop artists who do positive lyrics and, who make positive things and make contributions, and I think they should be celebrated as well, because it seems like hip-hop's getting a bad name and rap's getting a bad name, because everybody that sings hip-hop and also involved in rap music are not necessarily doing negative lyrics. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where most of it centered around negative lyrics, and also some of the dancing seems to be kind of lewd to a lot of people. And all I'm arguing in the song is basically trying to get across in the song is that there's people out there who are rap artists and who are hip hop who do positive things and sing positive things, and they have to be acknowledged as well, because most of the time everybody get thrown into the same pool.
Right.
As a representative, and that's something I was arguing in that, and that you have to give people credit. And like I was saying earlier, that a lot of the hip hop artists make contributions in terms of foundations, like during Katrina. They have invest in sports teams, do a lot of positive things, and you have to give people credit for credit deserved, and not necessarily take a strong paintbrush and paint everybody the same, which everybody's not the same.
Do you kind of feel like that it's a generational thing, because mainly you have people that grew up during the civil rights era that kind of really don't understand the magnitude of hip-hop, like a Bill Cosby or somebody that came on from that era?
It's generational, because hip-hop basically survive off young people. If you rely on more adults to purchase hip-hop will go under. It's young people that keep hip-hop alive. As long as there's a market for it, it's going to be produced, whether people like it or not. And you look at I mentioned in the song, if you look at basically disco disappeared because the money wasn't there. And the same thing when you look at hard rock. People said hard rock was evil. It caused young people to do negative things, right? Mm-hmm. So it is generational.
Yeah, it definitely
There's no question about it. It's generational.
And I don't know if you heard this, but Bill Cosby is doing a rap album. He's not rapping on it, thank God, but he has like other people rapping on it, and he's putting his own 2 cents and try to spread the gospel. That is the gospel according to the cause. Bill Cosby.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. Now, basically, you kind of feel like hip-hop is getting a bad rap. Now, why is it that you think that there's not as much balance in hip-hop music as it was back in the 80s and 90s when you had a Biggie and then you could have a Tribe Called Quest or Talib Kweli, and it's kind of like you have your mainstream and your political, social conscious backpack rap, and it's kind of like now one size fits all.
I think what has happened, and people want to admit, people argue with me all the time about this, I think what has happened is that hip-hop spread to the communities. And once it spread to the community, started impacting the children, then it became a national issue. Because basically hip-hop disagreement was primarily between the African-American community or the central cities and religious leaders who want to make comments about the lyrics and the dancing and so forth. And it stayed primarily, but when hip-hop and rap left the inner city and moved to the suburbs, then it became a national issue. Because most of the people who purchase hip-hop are white youth. Then it became center stage. But until then, it was like low-key, and primarily in the African-American communities. You would hear some of the black ministers, preach about the negativity of hip-hop on the impact of our community, our children, our women, and so forth. But it was primarily confined there. But when it started going out of the inner city into the white suburbs, then it became a national issue. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm arguing again. As long as it stayed in the cities, it was fine. But when it started spreading outside that central city or the cities and moving to the suburbs and start impacting the children in terms of the way they dress, the way they talk. You drive anywhere in the cities, you'll see, kids in their cars and vehicles, listen to rap music, singing and so forth, start dancing, start imitating. And I think that's when it became a national, if you want to call it, quote, unquote, national crisis for America to be concerned about.
And it definitely got worse when Madison Avenue started co-opting.
Oh, yeah, Madison Avenue saw the money in it from the clothing.
Tommy Hilfiger.
The marketing in terms of the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and so forth, they saw the money in it. Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, they saw the money in it. So when it became more commercialized, it obviously Madison Avenue wanted to capitalize on that. Dollar bills.
Yeah, definitely about the cash rules everything around me. Cream, they're trying to get that money. Dollar
not just
bills.
That. America's a capitalist society. We value the dollar more than we do people, quiet as it kept. So as long as that dollar's going to flow, you know, the music going to flow. When the dollar stops flowing from the music, then the music ends.
Yeah, because I'm sure that Tommy Hilfiger and like Nautica, the people at Nautica wasn't thinking like, we're making our clothes for the inner city youth. We're making it for the folks that's out there on Cape Cod on the summer and just out there lounging. And now you got kids in the inner city wearing polos and upscale clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you think about somebody like Kanye, who's able to straddle that fence? He's mainstream, but in most of his raps, he has like kind of like social political undertones.
Well, he's a positive person I was referring to, one of the positive rappers I was referring to. But he's also can be kind of controversial at times, some of his social themes, and people don't like that. Most people want rappers to stay within the confines of the violence, the game. But, you know, as you said, that Conway's somewhat a social conscious artist, and which he is. And he's fine and dandy, but sometimes he gets outside of his rim, and then he gets criticized by the general public. And in the case he made a comment about Katrina and Bush and so forth, that gave him some he took heat for that. Although he was correct, but still he took some heat for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things you say privately but not in public.
Exactly right.
People, that's a lesson in PR. There's certain things you can say in private that you can't say in public. Basically, you don't want to have a when keeping it real goes wrong moment.
Very true. Very, very true. All
right.
No question.
And now, what do you think about an act like The Roots? They're critically acclaimed, but they're not pulling the mainstream numbers.
I know they're critically acclaimed, but I also think they're a good good group. But I think also if you don't pull the numbers, you not get the exposure because it's just this whole game of hip hop and rap and even R&B is driven by numbers. It's driven by numbers. So if you don't drive the numbers are not high, you're not going to get the kind of attention that you need, and media attention. All has to do with money, do with numbers.
Right, and R&B is kind of going through the same way because I think after Teddy Riley did the whole New Jack Swing thing and then Diddy came in and then emerged into hip-hop soul, it seems like now hip-hop has engulfed R&B so much so that good R&B acts, you'll rarely get heard on the radio unless you have like a hip-hop instrumental or hip-hop laced R&B record.
That's true. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It's all driven by numbers. And radio stations, quietly as kept, commercializations are basically driven by numbers. That's what they're driven by. And what can we play to get the fans to listen to our radio station? That's what it's all driven by numbers.
So basically, you'll hear more of Jay-Z than you would Dead Prez.
Oh, it's no question. There's no question about that. That's true.
And they've been very vocal about commercial radio, and so has Chuck D of Public Enemy.